What's up, everybody? My name's Chance, and today we're going to be diving into a Jeskai Giants deck. That's right, we're playing Giants of 3 colors today, mostly led by this one right here, Thryx, the Sudden Storm. This is going to be a 5-mana, 4/5 flash flying elemental giant. If giant wasn't enough, it's also an elemental card. So spells you cast with converted mana cost 5 or greater, cost 1 less to cast, and can't be countered, which means you can actually play some really big, really fun stuff with this card. And you know, Dimir Rogues can't say anything about it. Those Yori and Azorius decks can't stop you. So, 2 nice things about this. 1, obviously everything I just listed. 2, it comes in at flash speed and has flying, which means it's a solid body to attack with, right? 4/5 flying. Not too shabby for 5 mana, and it comes in at flash speed, which means you can play it on your opponent's turn, and if they do have counter magic for this, or they do have removal for this, they're going to be burning it on their own turn, which means come back to your turn, you can play more giants, right? So it's, if not a constant buffer for your higher end spells, it is at least a single turn buffer for your higher end spells, and trust me, you're going to want that given the amount of giants we have. So up here in the top end, we'll go ahead and knock them out. We have 1 copy of Grasping Giant, and I mostly wanted to try this card out, so whether it's good or not, I guess I'll leave y'all up to that to decide. But if you do take it out, you know, add in another Realm-Cloaked, add in another Thryx, another Tectonic would be good as well, right? Anyways, it's a 6-mana 5/7 with Vigilance. Whenever Grasping Giant becomes blocked by a creature, exile that creature until Grasping Giant leaves the battlefield. So obviously it can get pretty ridiculous given it can just keep exiling your opponent's stuff, right? Anyways, after that, we have 1 copy of Sublime Epiphany, and this is mostly because I was testing the waters in the top end. I know I want Embercleave in this Giants deck, like I just know that that's a card I want, so we put Embercleave in here as a one-off. Inspired Ultimatum is just something I'm trying to have fun with, and I wanted to see, you know, does it work well in the deck. Kiora, Best of Sea God, again, is another one that I know works well, so if you want to play a higher end card, Kiora, Best Sea God works just as well as Embercleave. Well, I won't say just as well as Embercleave. I do think Embercleave is your best bet in the top end of this deck. It's sort of like a mid-range control aggro deck is the best way I can describe it, at least. So, Sublime Epiphany, that's really personal opinion. If you want a more controlling top end, you know, this is the route you go. If not, then maybe you do go for a more Embercleave style deck. Basically, this top end was for me to show you that there's a plethora of spells that you can play alongside Thryx, and they all work, you know, pretty well. So, anyways, moving us down here into this bottom end, because you gotta have a bottom end to get to the top end, right? So 2 copies of Glass Casket for some easy removal, 2 copies of Negate for some easy counter magic, 2 copies of Fire Prophecy, and you're gonna see a little theme here. I have 2 copies of Fire Prophecy, 2 copies of Scorching Dragonfire, because essentially they deal the same damage, right? 3/3, both instant speed. However, 1 is exile and 1 allows you to cycle cards from your hand. So I always get split in the middle of this. I'm like, oh, there's a lot of graveyard important decks, rogues, you know, Lourdes, whatever. So Scorching is good. But at the same time, sometimes you hit draws and you're like, man, that's a really shitty draw, so I want to swap it out. So I really like Fire Prophecy. It's up to you. If you want to play 4 copies of Fire Prophecy for, you know, consistency and efficiency, whatever, go for it. You want to play 4 copies of Scorching Dragonfire so you never get burned by those graveyard decks, go for it. This is me. I'm playing 2 of each. 2 copies of Midnight Clock to help you ramp up a little bit, as well as combat those mill decks. And, you know, what else could you want from a 3-mana artifact, right? Anyways, moving us down, we have 2 copies of Mystical Dispute. Obviously, it's excellent against any blue deck, rogues deck, that kind of stuff. But even against non-blue decks, right? 3 mana, make your opponent pay 3 to counter a spell. Generally, unless it's the Temur Reclamation, it's going to be good. And even up against the Temur Reclamation, at least they're playing blue spells, and so hey, it only costs 1 mana, and it's not going to be that hard to leave open and available, right? Next up, we have 2 copies of Neutralize, because you're going to want some general counter magic for, you know, the Yugins or the Gargaroths or whatever the hell your opponent might be playing, right? 3 copies of Bonecrusher Giant, as it is, well, pretty much a staple giant card. Deal 2 damage for the Adventure instant speed spell, and have a 4/3 on the other side for 3 mana. It's not bad. Next up, we have Mechagodzilla, the Weapon, or Crystalline Giant, as it's also known. 3 mana for this 3/3 at the beginning of combat on your turn. Sort of like a lottery machine here. You get a counter of a random con that it doesn't already have, so it can either get a flying counter, first strike, death touch, hexproof, lifelink, menace, reach, trample, vigilance, and or a +1/+1. Now it'll continue to get the counters that it doesn't have every single turn. So first turn rolls around and it gets the flying counter, you know, now you have a flying 3/3. Second turn rolls around, you know, now it gets the hexproof, so now your opponent can't target it. Now it's a flying hexproof 3/3, and so on and so forth. So obviously it's excellent the later it gets into the game, but it's also just a really fun card to see what you end up with, right? Moving us along, we have 1 copy of Mythos of Vadrok, and I gotta say, I thought I was gonna voice crack. I thought I was gonna hate this card a lot. I thought I was gonna be like, oh, it's so useless. But literally every time I drew it, I had a use for it, and it was good use. So it's hard for me to say don't play this card. If you have it, play it for sure. If not, maybe add in some other kinds of removal. But it's honestly a lot better than what I thought it would be, and a lot better, I feel like, than a lot of people were giving it credit for. So it's kind of a sleeper in the meta right now. But 5 damage, divided as you choose. So you can either take stuff out, or if you pay for the Jeskai colors, you can deal 1 damage to 5 things, and then those 5 things can't attack or block or activate their activated abilities, which is insane. You're essentially shutting down 5 creatures of your opponent, or planeswalkers. So you can ping a Ugin with 1 damage, you know, and then boom, it's shut down for a turn. That gives you that opportunity to swing in with your Embercleave and, you know, make them pay essentially. So Mythos of Vadrok, surprisingly very good. Tectonic Giant, another card that I don't see that often, but for the amount of text on the card and for its mana cost, it's pretty solid. 4 mana for this 3/4 elemental giant, so another elemental giant. Whenever Tectonic Giant attacks or becomes the target of a spell an opponent controls, so basically if they try to remove it, minus board wipe, right? Then you can choose one of these. Tectonic Giant deals 3 damage to each opponent, and remember, this is every time it attacks as well. So it only has 3 power, but you have the potential of dealing 6 damage every time it attacks, right? Or you can exile the top 2 cards of your library, choose one of them, until the end of your next turn, you can play that card. Which is pretty insane, right? That's a lot of card advantage that you're having that availability to, right? So for 4 mana, you either have a creature that can deal potentially 6 damage every time it gets targeted or every time it swings in, or a creature that is allowing you to, I won't say cycle through your deck, because you are exiling these cards, right? If you don't play it, then it's just gone. But it is still really good at diving down deeper into your deck. Up against mill decks, that area can get a little dicey, but you know, you do what you need to do. Anyways, moving us down, we have 1 copy of Narset of the Ancient Way. And honestly, if I could have more copies of Narset of the Ancient Way, I probably would. But I had to drop a mythic just to get her in here in this deck. But it just makes way too much sense to not have her in here, right? It's so good. 4 mana, 4 loyalty, planeswalker, +1. You get to gain 2 life. You add 1 mana of the Jeskai colors of your choice. And you can only spend this mana on a non-creature spell, which generally is fine. You have plenty of non-creature control-y spells. And if you spend that mana on a non-creature spell, then you can spend your land mana on a creature spell. Makes sense? Anyways, -2, you can draw a card, then discard a card. When you discard a non-land this way, Narset of the Ancient Way deals damage equal to that card's converted mana cost to target creature or planeswalker, so it essentially acts as removal. Now you are having to get rid of something, but you know, you got some pretty big spells in this deck, so you discard the Inspired blah 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 blah. Almost almost did it. Anyways, you can discard the Inspired Ultimatum, and that'll be 7 damage, which, you know, hey, that's good enough to take out a Ugin, am I right? Anyways, the emblem is obviously fantastic, because I haven't seen a bad emblem in Magic in, well, a really long time. So you get an emblem with whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this emblem deals 2 damage to any target. So essentially, you will win the game off that. You can cast your Bonecrushers, your Neutralizes, your Midnight Clocks, all this stuff to just deal miscellaneous damage, right? Alright, so we went over Thryx, we went over the bottom end, went over the top end. We do have 2 copies of Emiri's Call, 2 copies of Shattered Skull Smashing, and I don't have the blue mythic land, and some people are going to get mad at me for saying that. I don't really think it's worth one of my mythic rare wild cards to pick that land up. So, Thanks everybody for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the deck tech breakdown. Sorry it was a little bit of a longer one. If you have been enjoying, please be sure to leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new here and you want to see more content. And without further ado, let's hop into some magic. Vinny, what is it? Vinny, Vici? Vinny. I feel like I'm saying that wrong, but there's an Italian saying there. I guess we'll keep the hand. I've made the man sit here, or woman, made him sit here for long enough that I feel a little rude if I was to take a mulligan. All right, Temple, more lands, but no white lands. So far, just red and blue. Oh, the song started. I thought it was my phone ringing. I was like, I wonder who could be calling me. Annie? 1, 2, 3? I think I'm saying that wrong. Anyways, thanks for the follow. Thought I wouldn't know. Oh, wait. We do have some white mana right here. Needle leverage. Good old needle leverage. Well, y'all know I believe wholeheartedly in withdrawing all information from the foe for as long as possible. By the way, that is an awesome Black Lotus that you have over there. Really big fan of that. Wish that it did something a little bit more ominous, but you know, it just wants to chill out. It can chill out. Where is it? Vinny. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up after this stream. You can rest assured. Now we are gonna Scorching that Elysian because those Caryatids, I tell you, they're tricky. They can allow the opponent to do some pretty crazy stuff. Alrighty, Lava God pathway. We're on a good pathway ourselves, straight towards that 5 mana for the Thryx. And of course we have the Realm-Cloaked, which can destroy all creatures that are not giants. Are we putting anything back? I mean, part of me says put the Kiora Best to Sea God back, right? You're just putting it into the library. We're drawing something else out. It's a Mythos of Vadrok. Another card that we're here testing, trying, letting it rumble around in the water a little bit. By the way, we also hit a Temple, which means that we have enough for that Realm-Cloaked. I'm going to keep that Amiria's Call on top as well. Whether we hit the Amiria's Call or we hit it as a land, you know, both are pretty good. Also, it only costs us 6 mana instead of 7 because of the Thryx. So, Questing Beast, not fantastic. You know, it's not exactly what you would, you know, be loving to see right now. But we have a couple options. We can use Mythos, just take it out outright, and then 1 to the face. We can use Realm-Cloaked, clear their whole board. We could play down our own giant. I think I like the Mythos play though. 5 damage. I guess we can't send 1 to the face. And we don't have to necessarily pay, right? Because it doesn't matter whether it can block or not. We're removing it. We are moving it from the board. Oh, this is pretty good. Okay, so they're creating the 1/1. We will play down the Triome, and I'm going to play the Thryx down at flash speed. Hopefully we can catch this 1/1 off guard, right? They're going to swing in with it and like, oh yeah, 4 extra damage. I'm so cool. My name's Vinny. Doesn't Vinny sound like the cool Italian kid that has like the hair slicked back, right? Sort of run around with Fonzie. I never saw that show, but from the context experience that I've had with it, is that a word, right? Context experience, like the surrounding experience you've had with something while not directly having experience with it. That feels like, anyways, feels like that's correct. So let's see what they got. It's a 4/4 for sure. 4/4 for sure. I'm such a goofball. I don't know how we've gotten to this part of like almost 9,000 subs. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon. We're getting so close to 10,000. Ram through, you bastard. You bastard. Are they gonna fully 2 ram throughs? Vinny, buddy, that's not worth. That's not worth. There's no way that's worth. There's no way. Now, here's my question about worth. Do we destroy that 4/4 with our Shatter Skull? Or do we bolt this Shatter Skull in, go down to 13, and put 2 4/4 angels on the board? You know, it's a pretty good question either which way. Pretty good question. I say we take out the 4/4. Yep, just drop those lands right on top of it. You know, when they told me landfall was coming, I didn't think we'd have a card that actually lets you let land fall. And that's kind of what Shatter Skull is, right? You're taking a land and you're dropping it on that creature's head, which is fun. That's fun and exciting. Also, opponent didn't get to draw the 2 cards. No card advantage for you. Now, I would love to get to 7 mana. It's our Realm-Cloaked. It's our Miria's Call. Kogla. I would have loved to have had some counter magic there. That's alright. Watch this. Goodbye, you big gorilla. That hand is dirty. Ah, Vinny. Have you seen enough? Sephoda. Not a soda, a Sephoda. It's like a sofa and a soda had a baby. Sounds fantastic for me right now. Just kick up and we'll keep this hand. I don't, you know, it's not necessarily the bee's knees, as the kids would say. I guess in the 80s they'd say that. But I think with a little TLC, a little love and care, we can certainly get there. If we can get to the Thryx, then you know it's the world is our oyster, so to speak. Sure, we'll lead out with the plains. Y'all know I like to play my regular lands before anything else, as those give us, you know, you like to have the most amount of information available. So we actually ended up hitting lands perfectly fine. We should be able to get our Thryx down here on turn 5, like no problemo, right? No problemo. Actually, this is turn 4. Yeah, turn 5. We should be able to hit it and quit it, as the kids would say. Oh. So we have double white, we have double blue. I think all we do need is this down as red, so we have double red as well, right? So we can get Thryx down. Then, of course, Embercleave and Sublime can follow. Opponent's playing... No! I'll tell you what, before they take it, let's remove it. I'm going to decline here. Oh, made a grave mistake. Ah, that's a huge oops. Okay, so if you don't actually let the Skyclave take it, then you don't get the you don't get the creature. I forget that every time, because that's not the first time that we've done that. It's like the 3rd or 4th time. You know, I wish Thryx couldn't be countered either. That would make it a lot more lucrative. Okay, so we don't have to worry about that. That doesn't do anything to us this turn. Now, next turn. Can we bounce it? Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. We can. So we would need to do that at their upkeep before it procs. Maybe? Or do it on our turn, because then it wouldn't proc. Maybe. I don't know. I'm so old. Do we Embercleave onto our Thryx here? You know? It's half health them, half healthing them. If I wait until they use Elspeth's Nightmare, they're gonna take my Sublime Epiphany for sure. If I bounce Elspeth's Nightmare, we can't create a copy, a token of. I'm thinking. This costs 4. We wouldn't have enough for Neutralize. Do I do this and... Well, Sephoda, I gotta say that was really held your ground there. Gun 4,900. Okay, we're gonna keep this hand. We got blue, we got red, we got white mana, we got it all. We got a Mecha Godzilla. So let's lead with... Well, I guess this kind of tells them that we have blue and red. I was gonna say let's lead with red, right? Because that's the color you hate to see the most. And there's an Amiria's Call. We also have Shatter Skull, so we actually have a fair amount of lands here just from our flippy floppies. Horn Beetle, good old Horn Beetle. I don't know why every time I say Horn Beetle, I think Horn Swallow. Yeah, we're probably gonna cycle that Neutralize. I don't think the opponent's playing a control deck, and generally that's what the. Wow, this is a lot of mana. I'm not saying that in a good way. It's not like, wow, look at all this mana. It's like, yikes, look at all this mana. But yeah, generally we have the counter spells in here for versus. Wow, that's another first strike. Versus the control decks. So the odds of it being a first strike and a first strike is what, 1 in 100, right? Of it being 1 in 10 and then 1 in 10 again. Any hoosers, that's a Garrick's Uprising. We don't have anything we can really do this turn, so let's just scry, and if we see a land, you know, push that shit deep, deep, deep. We got trample, we got first strike. We're gonna get in for the 3 points of damage, and this this Mecha Godzilla is gonna keep on building, 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 building. Scorching Dragonfire takes out the Harbinger. Y'all like my song? Put a lot of work into it. We got a reach on there now as well. I would like to have or see a Vigilance, Lifelink, Flying, +1/+1. Yeah, they're really not gonna like us here in a second. When we just rain fire down upon them. Do we do that though? Do we hit them? Well, first things first, we should definitely swing in with our Mecha Godzilla, right? Oh, Hexproof too. Ha ha ha! Fantastic. Hey, you can't even target it. Bam. So yeah, do we use Shatter Skull here? Because if I do, then I don't have enough mana for Negate, and I'm not gonna lie, I want mana for Negate. Like, more so than removing their creature, I think. So, I guess we could have also bolted Shatter Skull down and got Amiria's Call, or did we already play a land that last turn? I'm sure we already played a land. Well, you can't negate that. I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking it was gonna be a Great Hinge. I was like, oh, you think you're gonna be sly? Think you're gonna be slick? Think you're gonna get past me? But yes, they did. They did all of that. They were slick, sly, and they got right past me. Excuse me, pardon me. Alrighty, so we can use Shatter Skull to take out their questing beast. Pray they don't have another. We could bolt this down and get down Amiria's Call, though I feel like that's better weighted on. We could just hard cast the Bonecrusher. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just do this. It's all right. Can we get a lifelink? Flying. Snap. All right, so we just need one more land and that Amiria's Call can come down. Watch them play Great Hinge this turn, and they're like, wah, ha, 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 ha. What is this card? Gargaroth? Well, they might play Gargaroth. Gargaroth gets in there. It stops my my 3/3 from smacking her. How big is Gargaroth? Gargaroth? What? Why would you not play Gargaroth? You're crazy. Or do they have lethal? Oh no, what if they have lethal? Can you add 5 points of damage for 2 mana? Well, you can add a Great Hinge. I knew they were going to cast that shit down as soon as I left out my Negate. I knew it. So maybe we shouldn't have gone all in on the questing beast there. Maybe we should have just put down the Bonecrusher, you know, seen what counter our Mecha Godzilla got in the first place before we did anything. Oh, and they're back to 17 health. That's fucking horrific. Oh, how the tides have turned. But that's mono green in a nutshell, right? You give them an inch, they take it a mile. Come on, Fabled. You and I both know You can click. You can click there. All right. Well, they already have the worst thing possible down, so it only makes sense that what did we get there? Vigilance. Oh, we got vigilance. Hey. So we have 3, 7, 11 points of damage. So if I send this here, it'll be down to 14, but they can get down to Gargaroth. If I take this out, it doesn't really do anything for us. All right, well, let's go to face then. Boop. Our Mecha Godzilla also has indestructible, so if they try to swing with a Harbinger, we can stop that. Stop it right in its tracks. I am fully expecting one or both Gargaroths this turn. Let's see, Castle Garen Brig gives them 6 mana, it only costs 5 to tap it, and then they have 2, 10. Yeah, okay, 2. I guessed that perfectly. So let's see it. Double Gargaroth action. Oh no, Cragblade. You know, that's a little bit more of a yikes kind of situation. Nice. GG. Concede. Alright, so where did we lose it there? Destroying the questing beast, I think. Oh, it's mono green. We lost it because it got value. If you want me to be honest, like... Hey, Vinny! Long time no see. Pal? Long time no see. This isn't really a hand that I want to keep. It's a little bit better. We'll keep one of these negates, toss back the other one, lead out with the Temple of Triumph. But yeah, it just seems like, and again, this is very early speculation, so don't, take everything I'm saying basically with a grain of salt. Is basically what I'm saying. Dwarves are going to be busted, and aggro is going to really suck to play against. Now, obviously, once the control people figure out, okay, I just need this combination of cards to lock them down, then it'll sort of reside a little bit. But in that first bit, ooh, it's going to be so terrible. Those dwarves, like, I'm fairly sure that red one that they showcased is just going to be everywhere. If they give them any amount of dwarves, any amount of token creation, that card will be everywhere. Which is scary. I hate the idea. It's like when they revealed Omnath, and you're like, well, I guess it's a matter of time, huh? I digress. We haven't seen the rest of the set, so this is like super early speculations, and you never know which way to really take that, right? We're just gonna keep their creature count low here. Keep it low to the flow. You want your daily wins easy? Ha! Not here, Mono Red. Not today. Not today. So this is actually working out very beautifully for us. We still have mana for the Fire Prophecy and the Negate. We have mana now for the Realm-Cloaked board wipe. Any opponent who's seemingly playing mono red doesn't have anything on the board. Torbrand. Hi, Torbrand. Do I negate their shock? I think so. What else are we gonna negate in mono red? Embercleave? I mean, yeah, probably. I'm not gonna use my Realm-Cloaked Giant. Not quite yet. Oh, we got him, Vinny. They've got to be so mad. They are clearly just trying for their daily wins, and we keep popping up, and we're like, nope. Anyways, Hurt Fist's gonna be our next foe. We're gonna mulligan that hand because we didn't have the greatest lands. We're gonna keep this one because I'm a fool, and even though we still don't have great lands, if we can get to the midnight clock, we can kind of sort of level ourselves out. But yeah, it just seems 15 wins? Really? You want somebody to hop on here and play 15 games of Magic? A game of Magic can take 30 minutes. The only people that are going to have that is, and no offense to them, like absolutely zero offense, but the only people that have that kind of time is people that don't go to school or don't work. I just feel like they should know their audience a little bit better. What? No, I was trying to move you around in my hand. I actually want to hit that midnight clock on curve, so we're going to go for that Castle Vantress. But yeah, 15 daily. It just... And I guess here's my biggest problem with it is they don't think about the indirect problems that it causes. Like what I'm talking about here with, oh, well, now I have to battle against 15, 16 morons playing the same deck. You know, the same shit. And it's so bad. They're going to take my Narset. I'm not happy about it, but we can't stop it either. So. Let's just get down the midnight clock. Okay, so Narset goes. And then next turn we're at 4-5. We only have one red source. We have so much blue mana this game. What? They got counter magic. Okay, never mind. They gotta have a mystical dispute. That's the only. What? Am I like very clearly missing something here? Or
let me demonstrate the prowess of my ancestors.
Cause I feel like I gotta be missing something. They saw the Narset, then you had the Narset, and they take the mystical dispute. Maybe they have an answer, you know? Maybe they just have blood chiefs or murderers. I don't know. I feel like I definitely feel too good about them letting that happen though. Ashiok. Yeah, I mean it's still like not, you know, still like not enough. So we could get down the Grasping Giant here actually, but I won't have enough mana for anything after that. So if I do this, still do that. I really want to get down the Grasping Giant, don't get me wrong, but we also have to play sort of realistically. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't even realize this, I'm sorry. That was perfect. That was perfect, actually. So, I really want that white mana though. I think we still cycle it into the deck. Ooh, that's good too. All right, well let's get down the Bonecrusher, and now our Narset's got a little bit of a buffer in front of her, you know. Yeah, I mean maybe they took the mystical dispute because they didn't want us to counter their Ashiok, but that's so greedy. That's so greedy. All right, Murderous Rider to take out our Narset. She had a good run, you know. She fought hard. She really put in the time. I wish we could all be a little more like Narset. Slaying Ashioks, putting them in their places. Anyways, we're gonna try to get down the Thryx here. Hopefully they'll tap out their mana. I'm assuming they will because they got the creatures to tap out with. You know what I mean? Karavik the Spiteful. That's a card you don't see every day. You don't even see that every month. You might. No! Mystical Dispute and we were off by 1 mana. I did that to myself? You freaking kidding me? We didn't have to pay it like that. Oh well. Taking them down to 8. We can put a counter on this, can't we? Yeah, so they'll bid up to 10, 11 on our turn, which means... I'm super happy that we could have this experience here today. Alright, so yeah, with Midnight Clock, we can gain a whole hand's worth. We're gonna wait for their turn, of course, to sink the mana and do that. Oh, yeah, we don't even have to sink the mana. Beautiful. Murderous. Do we let it hit? Yeah. We're not using that Mystical Dispute so soon. I will go ahead and use my Fire Prophecy. Fire Prophecy. Keep the untapped land. Realm-Cloaked. I think we got this game. I think Jeskai Giants. Not only do we have this game, I think we got some merit within this deck. I think we got some good stuff going for us. Like, it feels fun. It seemingly performs well, right? I always have people that are like, oh, Chance's deck is garbage. I played 10 games with it and I lost 20. But you always got to take that kind of stuff with a grain of salt. So it seems good. I guess I should say that. Resolve. I will say I'm excited that I see the Karuga, you know? That's just not something you see that often. Are we going to get them with the Mystical Dispute like they got us? What? How'd they pay 3? They only had 2. Oh, no. Did I thought I counted 2 mana. Whoops. That's fine, because now we do this and we win no matter what. Well, not no matter what, but, you know, yeah. Oh, no, yeah, we win no matter what. That's right, because Karuga was only 4 health. Whew, well, that was a whole lot of back and forth on the emotion train.